and how you serve it and everything. There's a glass for everything, Enoch. There's a glass for everything, and it's not just to be cute. It's not just by design.
Right.
There's a glass for everything. So I got appropriate glasses out, and I'm just sipping and chatting, and we're having a beautiful conversation. And he's like, "Yeah, I want a bigger glass," and I'm like, that glass will hold the entire bottle.
So he wanted to drink it all up.
So you want to bring the drink and drink the drink, So you listen. Here's what I'm not going to do. And it wasn't high quality either. It wasn't like the high end top shelf. It wasn't. You know what I mean?
What wine was it?
So no, it was tequila, but it was Altos tequila, which is a good tequila, but it's not the higher end.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, it's not a horrible tequila, but it's not the higher end either. And so I was just like, oh, okay, well, you do you. So I just felt like those two things really, I just felt like it showed really bad etiquette or the lack thereof. And I feel like it was more of the lack thereof than necessarily just bad etiquette, because I just felt like it was more of you knew no better.
Right.
It was just a selfish, very ungentlemanly act. But again, it made me question, what type of women are you dealing with? Because I've learned in life, if you're dealing with great, very in tune, knowledgeable, conscious women, they're going to teach you a thing or two about being a gentleman. Men too, but when you're around great men, but I'm saying a lady teaches you how to treat her. A man teaches a woman how to treat him.
Right.
And I didn't grow up with a bunch of great, men as far as like blood related, but once I stepped out in life, I shut up and started listening and like, oh, okay. Dudes don't like that. Well, what do you like? You know what I mean? I asked the questions, and then I started to pay attention. And I stopped asking questions, and I started to pay attention. And I'm like, oh, shit. Well, I can see how that's not maybe the best response. Well, maybe that's not the best approach.
Yeah, it's not even tricky. It's just the point of how well are you versed into that person as far as respecting what they like versus what they don't like.
Yeah.
If I already know what type of energy or person you are, and I've been to your house several times, and I know that these shoes are here for a reason. These shoes are not just to have. These shoes are not here because I don't have room in my closet for them. These shoes are here because no one walks in their house with the shoes on. So you have to respect that, adapt to it, and they don't want to adapt to it.
Right.
And sometimes they don't do it because they think there's some spooky shit about it. Taking off your shoes. Well, I got, what if I just come in here in my flip-flops?
Yeah.
Can I still, no, this is my house. These are the rules. Take your shoes off when you get in the house.
I don't mind explaining, though. I don't mind.
Right.
But don't try to battle me about the place where I pay the rent, where I pay the water, the electricity, the trash pickup, all of that. Who the fuck? First of all, I go straight to the street. Who the fuck are you testing, though?
My love, what did I do to make you fall so far from me? And now I can't recall because of the fall.
Because there are many facets to all of us. And if you're constantly putting yourself in a situation with people who bring out the worst in you, that says something about you, not them.
Right.
So I had to really fall back and be like, well, who the fuck you talking to? But I don't like that feeling. I don't. I don't like that feeling, and I don't like to go there, and I don't like to have to rise up out of that, because what I was looking for was one of our amazing good times where I welcomed you. And most people who come into my home always say, wow, it feels so serene in here. Here's what I didn't do, Enoch, before I invited him over. I didn't sage.
I didn't
take the time. Normally I do that before everybody comes over. Every single time. I do it every single time. And I didn't sage, and I already was in a bad headspace. Not a bad headspace, but I wasn't in the greatest headspace because of work and some personal stuff, and and I didn't take the time to center myself and then sage and then pray and clean my energy.
Right. So let me ask you this: Did you tell him that you were having a bad day? Or
No.
a bad week?
No.
Okay.
He's not a person I confide in.
No. I'm not even
But still,
saying
I just didn't. I didn't want to open that because I didn't. No, not confide in, but I didn't want to. That was the wrong term. He's not a person that I would bring that up to because we don't see each other regularly. And then, like I said, when we do normally hook up, he comes to my holiday parties and stuff. He's a good time. I don't want it to seem like it's not. He's a good time.
Right.
But I think this was an off day, an off evening. And but I also just didn't want to open a dialogue about what I was feeling or going through. Let me say that. And I didn't want to be the person to cut somebody short and be like, oh, it's nothing. You know what I mean? Like, no, it is something, but I don't want to talk about it.
Well, shit, you should have just been like, I don't feel like any company tonight. You know what I mean? Or whatever.
No, because I thought the company would shift me.
Okay, did it
I thought it would shift me. Because it happens. I normally get those guests.
Okay, but did it shift, though? When he arrived, did it shift?
It a little bit, but like that type of shit, it kind of put me like, damn, people. It was just like people, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
God, like this is why I've been in my hermitage all week because I don't want to deal with shit like this.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So it didn't work. It didn't.
Okay, so let's say this.
Yes.
Because that kind of goes into almost what we're talking about, but we can elaborate a little more. So the gentleman that you're speaking of, I'm playing a scenario in my head.
Yeah.
The gentleman that you're speaking of, he reached out to you, correct?
I reached out to him days before, but he was in Cancun with his lady, and then he responded like, hey, let's link up. And I was like, absolutely, because we hadn't seen each other since my holiday party.
Okay.
Last year.
This initiation that started between you and him was considered trying to make time, correct?
Yes, making time.
Making time. So
yes.
when we make time for love, which is the topic of discussion today, and please
elaborate. You're not meaning on just romantic love. You're meaning for the people in your life that you care about and being kind and reaching out and connecting and all of those things. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I'm with you, but I just want our audience to know what we're speaking of.
Right. Because this is a long-time friend. I mean, this is not somebody you just
No, this is a long-time friend and somebody that I value because they've been around for a long time.
Right. So
but we don't see each other regularly. We don't talk every day. We don't connect regularly, but when we do connect, it's normally a good time.
Right. So you respect the value and you respect the time. So the time was there.
Absolutely.
And the value was happening. But, when we say, like, make time for love, basically there's a loved one or that energy. You want to be with that person, be without that.
Absolutely.
Blah, 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 blah. But this time, it felt like it was maybe forced. Shit, he wasn't really in the mind space for it, but he reached out. Y'all talked about it. Okay,
no, because initially he was like, let's go out. He was like, let's go out. But I wasn't, like, I'm an empath, and so I didn't want to go out and take in a bunch of people and energies, and I didn't want to do it. He went to a game that ended late, so he was like, is that too late, the time? I was like, actually, no. I said, that's perfect because, I have a couple of things to do. So I said, well, like we did in the past, let's just have cocktails. Yes, my house, my bar. My house is peaceful. There's parking. Let's just connect them. So he was like, okay, bet. He was like, I'll pick up the bottle, anything in particular, blah, blah, blah. That's it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And like I said, he's a gentleman. You learn things about people.
Because I don't want to make it feel like it's about him, but I'm just asking a general question. So when women do you find out that sometimes you're too busy for a loved one, or do you find out that when you're not busy, your loved one is busy, and the time is not matching out? How do you deal with your time management when it comes to making time?
I don't think it's a gender thing. I think that it's a how you prioritize and how you value. And for me, I'm not that one. I don't, like my numerology and my moon sign and everything else, I'm not that one. I'm very family oriented, and family includes friends, because I got like all of 3 freaking friends. Like, you know what I mean? I mean, not excluding you, Enoch, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
the people I grew up with,
right.
I'm friends with them, and my daughter is one of them. I carried and birthed one of my friends. You know what I mean? And so I am. I live in a hermitage. I'm a hermit. Because I take on so many emotions and feelings and all of those of other people, I don't tend to have a big circle. So it's not hard to manage my friends, but I do have acquaintances outside of the box,
right,
like we've talked about in the past, outside of the box, that I do feel the need and the appreciation to reach out to and say, I appreciate you. Crossed my mind today, I just wanted to say, hey, I have a friend, Ann Elvis. Ann is this cool-ass white chick who's in every protest, who's in everything, and when I say she's just the best person ever.
Right.
Ann shows up every year for my birthday. Her and Cousin Nickel, shout out to Cousin Nickel, co-host of the Brunch Bitches, their birthday is the same day. So a lot of times we've done things together for them, for their birthday. And I met Ann because my girl Connie from South Africa, I met Connie on social media years ago. Right. And Connie said, Ann is coming to the States, and I think that you're a good person to connect with her. She said, I trust you to be a friend to her. And Ann and I have been friends ever since. Connie sent her my number, sent me her number. We text back and forth. We went to dinner. Now D Field is friends with her. Cousin Nickel is friends with her. Like, she's part of our crew. But we see each other twice a year, on my birthday and during her birthday.
Right.
So, I don't think that it's about finding time. I think that it's about value and appreciation.
Right, but okay, so that's family and friends. Step outside of the box, because I think that particular person you just mentioned is in the box of family and friends.
That was an example. It was a long example, but it was an example.
Long example. Absolutely.
You didn't have to agree. You didn't have to agree.
You just got to walk people through it. Sometimes you got to walk people through the steps so they can see what the hell you're looking for.
You got carried away. You do. You got to have somebody to reel you back in. You do. I ain't lying. You do.
It's all good, because it's like, I got to reel you back in. Be like, yo.
I love you, Enoch. You're such a dude. I love you.
You know what I'm saying? I let you get it off. Let me get off the chest.
Let me get it off. Get that off. Get that off.
So, I mean, that's a friend. That's a family friend.
That's a friend.
In the box. But when you step outside the box and you talk about value time, you talk about spending time.
Yeah. So are you speaking outside of the box and getting to know somebody romantically?
Yeah. Now we're outside the box.
Okay.
Now we're outside the box, and you're a busybody. You're doing what you do. Boom, 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 boom.
Well, I just got out of that situation. The boy that I was pining over, I just got out of the situation. I don't want to give too much information, because if I do, people will know who he is, because he's not a stranger to D.C., the D.C. scene and the public scene, and he's somebody. Right. And so here's what he said. Let me tell you what he said. And I'm not, and I think that, he says that he thinks that I'm being unfair with giving my side of things. My cousin Nickel always brings me back to reality when it comes to me, because she says it sometimes in a harsh way, but she's like, listen, bitch, listen. She's like, listen, cut that shit out, cut it out. She's like, look, because I always tell her I don't want to be arrogant. And to me, arrogance means that I'm not falling back and learning and listening and you know. And I said I never want to be arrogant.